Look, man. Usually I don't like to come on and bother nobody, but we gotta talk about this. It's starting to really annoy me. Like, yo, y'all gotta just accept the fact that this is for all the Earl Spence fans. And let me start off by saying I was rooting for Spence. I say, yo, Spence is phenomenal. He's a Wolverine. He can't be stopped. That man put people in the hospital. That is exactly what I said. Right? I listen. I was so behind Spence, right, that I didn't even pay for the pay-per-view. Like I literally went to the city. Me and my son Bo. We went out there with a couple of our homegirls. We went out there to go watch this fight. The reason why I didn't go, the reason why I did not go to Vegas was because I'm a new dad, and plane tickets, staying at the hotel, probably gonna play gambling. It was not worth, and I'm glad I didn't make that decision. Right? So I go and watch this fight, and I watch my man Spence get demolished, gets the beating of his life. That after the fight, the man looked it so bad, like I couldn't even watch it no more. Ask my man. I'll call my son Bo right now, and he'll tell you how stressed out I was, how disappointed I was, how I couldn't believe that my man's got a beating like that. That man got a beating of his life, right? And then you get you get the Earl Spence Crawford was cheating. He was taking a snack. Um, Spence was high. Spence was this. Spence was that. And there's the new thing now. Here's the new one now. He had cracked ribs, and his hands wasn't. He wasn't in the right space. Listen, the biggest fight of your life to be undisputed. This is what you was dying for. The biggest fight of your life. If you know that you injured yourself, the right thing to do is pull out the fight. Because only a fool would think for 1 second that he can be B plus to fight somebody that was already at that time 39 and 0, 30, 30, 30 wins by knockout. Only a fool would think that that you could beat this man just being B plus. Only a fool. So now that the man got a beating of his life, right? Individuals now are saying that it's because he had so much things wrong with him. He was injured. He was this. He was that. Let me ask you a question. Let's just be honest. Like, and I'm saying this from a boxing standpoint. Somebody that knows how to box. I ain't A class. I ain't B class. Listen, I'm probably like a C minus. You know what I'm saying? I ain't been boxing in years, but if it was a street fight to go home, I'm going home, right? So let's just think logical here. What improvement do you think that Spence can do to beat that man? Like honestly, first is the weight drain. You can't fight at 147. Now he got a rib injury. All of these problems, like this is the problem with society, bro. We just can't just take the L for what it is. And I'm not saying Spence because Spence, he ain't say nothing. He took it like a champ, like he's supposed to, and say, yo, he got the best of me. I want that rematch. We're gonna run that again. Any real fighter, that's the only thing a real fighter's supposed to say and keep it pushing. Right? Now, my issue is with the fans, right? I don't call myself a fan. I'm a Spence supporter. Whatever Spence is doing, I'm with it. Even when the fight was announced, oh, this is easy for Spence. Spence got this, like hands down. No disrespect to Crawford, but Spence is a southpaw. You know what I'm saying? I'm a southpaw. I'm a southpaw. You feel me? And the man caught a beating of his life, guys. There's no other way to say it. There's no other way to flip it. The man caught a beating of his life. The more you make excuses, the more fuel you're gonna put behind Terrence Crawford, where he's gonna really hurt him this time. The last fight, Crawford held back out of respect that he had for Spence. The fact that Spence made that fight, I'm telling you this from a fighting standpoint. There was plenty of times he could have hit him with an uppercut. Plenty of times he could have cocked it back and hit him flush. See, Spence, as fundamentally sound that he is, Spence got a problem. He has a problem with keeping his hands down. His hands like to go down. So when he exchange, he like to exchange. Like, I don't know, it's a force of habit. You know, it's a force of habit. He had to share will. So when he hit you hard, you understand, individuals couldn't react. Where Crawford, like he said it. Watch the interview. Crawford said it out of his mouth. He said, "Yo," when he threw that punch, and he said, "That's it," and it was on from then. From that first round, once Crawford tasted Spence's power, it was over. Now, as strong as Spence is, Crawford is just too much. He's just too much, guys. Making an excuse is only gonna make that man even mad. You're gonna make Crawford more mad, and he's gonna make an example out of Earl. And Earl, to be honest, and I'm saying this from a supporter standpoint, I'm saying this from a fighting standpoint, especially receiving your first loss, you need to go fight. You need a tune-up fight. You need a fight to see if your rib cage is fine. You need to see if your hands is fine, if your eyes is fine. You need to see all of these things. You need to see how you feel being in at 154. You need to see these things. You need to see these things before you do anything. You need to see these things. I'm just keeping it 100. You need to see these things before you indulge yourself into a fight with Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford is he's a creme of the crop, man. You got to take it for what it is. That man is a creme of the crop. That man sits on that throne by himself. Mayweather retired. Andre Ward took it. Andre Ward retired. It was handed over to Terrence Crawford. I'll leave it as that. If you had won that fight, Spence, the keys would have been handed to you, right? It's Crawford. Not even. It's not even. It's not even. What's his name? Devontae Davis. As great as Devontae is, you know what I'm saying? He doesn't have the wins that this man Terrence Crawford has. Doesn't have the amount of belts, the accolades That man is undisputed in two weight classes, guys. And if he fights Charlo, it's gonna be three weight classes, guys. He's going to beat the mess out of Charlo. I love Charlo. You know what I'm saying? I love all my people. But when it comes to sports, you gotta call it what it is. If Spence was getting the bet was giving Charlo the works, and that man made Spence look like a mediocre 5-year-old. Charlo know. You see Charlo demeanor after that ass whipping? Prior to the ass whipping, it was you ain't sugar honey iced tea. My man's gonna whoop your ass. Use a bitch. You know what it is. You know what it is. Houston, baby, Houston. That's what it started off with, and that joint ended with $1 Bella. Juanita, $1 Bella. You feel me? It ended with that. It ended with hold on, some really could fight. Some really get busy. Some really about his actions. Let me think twice on how I'm gonna comment. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna do what any real man them gonna do. Like, yeah, I'm gonna fight him. Yeah, man, tell him come up. Tell him, yeah, we'll get his beat. Of course you're gonna do that. You gotta sell it. You gotta put yourself. It's publicity. But in all reality, you know that man not fighting that boy. Without a shot of a doubt, that man is not fighting that boy. Not the way, not the way he whooped Spence ass. Not the way he whooped Spence ass. He's not fighting that boy. Let, 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 let's just keep it on it. He's not fighting that boy. He don't even like losing. That Canelo, that Canelo fight wasn't a fight. That was a payday fight. That don't count. He ain't lose nothing. He ain't risk nothing. That don't count. It don't count at all. Oh, excuse me. Tired. About to make my way home. And that Canelo fight, they count at all. But that Crawford fight, oh yeah, it's too much. It's too much. It's too much ego on the line. Too much ego, pride, disrespect. You have to bring your A game. The man whooped on Spence ass, jumped on the ring, said, "You next." Knocked him down and said, "You're next." That's a different type of fighter, man. Spence, just leave it alone. Spence fans, just leave it alone, bro. Leave it alone. Stop making excuses. Even he know his sports. Know to just leave it alone. Stop making excuses. Just leave it alone. I'm telling you, it's all of those excuses and all of these mockings. You know what I'm saying? Making all of these jokes. I put the fuel to that man, and that man got his get back. Just leave that man alone, man. Just leave him alone. And I'm gonna leave it as that, man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't come here to be too long. I just want to leave it as that, man. Leave it alone. Come on, Spence fans. Y'all gotta just take the L, man. Take it. It's gonna be okay. Life goes on. Let Spence fight at 154. Let him fight at somebody. It's different levels to this. Crawford is a A plus fighter, man. Crawford is up there with Mayweather. A plus fighter. You don't reach that level of accolades, wins with no losses, without being an A plus fighter. The minute you could switch it around. The moment somebody could switch it around, you hear me? Could fight both ways, left and right. Come on, son. And be dominant. Come on, son. So that man is different. This people, please, please, I beg you guys, leave it alone. If Spence not talking and making excuses, you guys should not be talking and making excuses because word is gonna get back to that man Crawford, and Crawford is going to whoop Spence ass to the point where you're gonna wish you never spoke. It's your brother man from the motherland. I'm a holla. Peace.